we have been given this gift of a body, and what we do mostly is beat it up, yell at it, tell it it's ugly, and that's just super sad. It actually makes me really sad to think about that. So stop it, okay? Stop it. Give your body a break, okay? And instead of chasing somebody else's body or somebody else's shape, focus on becoming the strongest, healthiest, best version of your own.
Welcome to the Balanced Fit and Free podcast. I'm Rae Anne Mullins, and this season we're talking about the deeper side of wellness, mental health, emotional patterns, self-awareness, alignment, and what it truly means to live well from the inside out. Because real health isn't about perfection. It's about becoming stronger, more intentional, more authentic, and more free. Let's get started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Balanced Fit and Free podcast. I'm Rae Anne Mullins, your host. And as always, I'm super happy to have you here. Hey, if you haven't already done it, you can hit subscribe wherever you're listening to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. I would love that. And I want to remind you that you are able to rate and review the podcast. So if there's something you love about the podcast, I would love for you to hit that star rating and leave us a quick little review. That would really be helpful, and I'd so appreciate it. So today's episode is going to be real talk. And I think we always have real talk here. But, I wanted to talk about something I'm seeing, and I've been seeing this for a long time, but recently I haven't been taking on as many one-on-one clients just because, I'm back in school and that's really time consuming. And I've been shifting what I'm doing as far as working with clients. And so I haven't really been taking on as many clients, but I did take on a couple new clients recently. And it reminded me that, working with somebody new who doesn't know me, who's never listened to the podcast, who's never, doesn't follow me on Instagram, isn't on my email list. It's really interesting because they don't know my story. They don't know really who I am. And so whenever I meet with somebody new like that, it really takes me back and makes me realize that, we're all very similar. And so today I want to talk about something real and the things that I see often. So, I'm bringing this up not to shame anybody or to make anyone feel bad, but, after my 25-ish plus years of coaching women in fitness and nutrition and lifestyle change, I just keep seeing the same patterns over and over again. And the truth is that, sometimes the biggest thing holding people back is not the program. It's not, the diet. It's not the exercise. It's not the coach. It's, not the workout, not the meal plan, not the food. But sometimes the biggest obstacle is actually self-deception. And listen, I say this with so much compassion, okay? We've all been there. I've been there, not just with diet and exercise, but in other areas of our life. But, when we want to make a change, especially with our body, it can be very hard. Actually, any change is hard. Changing jobs, moving to a new city, changing relationships, any kind of change is super uncomfortable, and it is just not easy. So looking honestly at our habits, especially around body change, can be very, very, very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And people get super defensive when you try to point things out. So I don't want you to feel defensive while listening to this episode. I want you to really listen. And I want you to ask yourself a simple question. Am I doing any of this? Okay. So today we're going to be walking through the biggest mistakes that I see women make when they are trying to change their body. And there's more. I'm only going to go over 4. There's more mistakes that I see, but I think I wanted to narrow it down to the things that I see that are the most important or the most pertinent that you need to really understand first. Okay. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty about, calories and stuff. And we do a little bit, but mostly I want to point out these 4 things. Okay. And so ask yourself as you're listening, do I do this? Okay. And if the answer is yes, it's not something to feel ashamed about. Don't feel bad about it. It's actually a super powerful place to start because honesty is where real change begins. So let's jump in. All right, mistake number one, drum roll. Expectations are way too high. And if you've been here a while, you've heard me say this, right? The first mistake is that I see women making unrealistic expectations for themselves, right? Someone changes their eating for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and they're already saying to themselves, I haven't lost 10 pounds. What's going on? I have changed and I should be miraculously, I don't think that's a word. I should miraculously already look the way I looked. I mean, I've changed my diet for 14 days. What's wrong with me? Or worse, they assume the plan just isn't working after a very short time. And so they stop that plan and they jump on a new plan or call their friend and ask what they're doing, right? But here's the truth. Your expectations around body change have likely been shaped by decades of horrible, horrible marketing from the diet industry, okay? The diet industry. You've seen things like lose 10 pounds in 10 days, drink this potion and lose your belly fat, or take this pill and wake up tomorrow 1 dress size smaller. These are actual marketing ads that I've heard over my lifetime. And or back in the day, drink 2 shakes a day and have 1 healthy meal and you're going to be a new person in 5 days. It's such crap. It just really is. So what's even worse now, okay, is that with AI and photoshopping, there are so many before and after photos all over online, on TV, everywhere that just aren't even real. So women, unfortunately, so badly want change, so badly hate their body that they are willing to follow this commercial that they probably know deep down it can't be real. But they're like, okay, if I take this potion, and I'm not talking GLP-1s, we're not going there right now. What I'm talking about is like these like Slim Fast, and I don't even know if Slim Fast is around anymore, but just as an example. But there's all these potions out there where you drink this liquid and it instantly melts your belly fat. And I can't tell you how many people have reached out to ask me what I think about it. I think it's a lie. That's what I think about it. But anyway, then you see all these like before and after photos everywhere. And you're like, well, guess what? How do you know if it's even real? Okay, I got to tell you a story about that. So one time, and I apologize if I've already told this in a podcast. I maybe have. But one time my son's friend left his car in our driveway and they went on a vacation together. And just to be funny, my husband took a picture of my son's friend's car and then he put it into AI and said, make it look like it's been hit, like it's been crashed into or, run into. And it was amazing. It was the funniest thing ever. So he had this sweet little BMW and we were like, oh, he totally just loved that car. So my husband thought it would be really funny. So we send him a picture and we're like, we're so sorry, your car, we think maybe the mailman hit it. We're not sure what happened. And it was really mean actually, because he got very upset and we're like, no, we're just kidding. But my point is, if you can make a car look like it's been crashed into and it very realistic, don't you think that somebody could take someone's body and put it into AI and say, make it look like they've lost 25 pounds, slim up their hips, tone out their arms? Yes, it's true. So be careful because most of those before and after photos you're looking at are not real. Okay, unless you know the coach or you know the program and you know for a fact or you know it's you can't be certain that they're real. Okay, and that is actually partly why I don't do that. My clients share their photos with me and then share it. I think that's their privacy, first of all, but also, how do we know it's real? And each person is so different that I don't love that because each person's going to have a different result. And so those before and after photos just are not my jam. Anyway, back to the point. So we've been, lied to for all these years about, how fast you can lose weight. So this has really created this unrealistic expectation in our mind, okay? So when you start following a genuine, true, healthy, good program with a genuine, coach or leader, because really, let's be honest, you need some kind of leader. If you need help with something, it's a great idea to get help, okay? So whether that's like a program, a company, a doctor, whatever it is, me, whoever, we want to actually notice how the results are a little bit slower, okay? The slower does not mean that it's not working. If you've spent years eating in a certain way, why would you expect your body to completely transform in 7 days? Think about it. When you had a baby, okay, do you remember hearing this? If you've had a baby, it took you 9 months to grow that baby. It's not going to be, your body's not going to go right back in a week, okay? It takes a week for your uterus to like go back down or longer, okay? So it's the same with your body. Why would you expect to spend, 50 years eating a certain way and then decide to change, and then your body is just supposed to miraculously like whip into shape? It's just not real, okay? Real change takes time. So if you change your nutrition for 1 week and your body hasn't dramatically shifted yet, that doesn't mean you failed. No, it means you're human, okay? It means that there's other things happening first before your body is going to look different. Think about when you change your diet or start exercising, think of all the amazing things happening inside. Just because you're not seeing a change on the scale instantly, or just because your pant size didn't change in less than a week, doesn't mean that your body is not being nourished better, doesn't mean you're not going to be stronger, doesn't mean your cells are getting stronger or healthier. No, there's a lot of really good things still happening. So it's not a failure. It's just that you're human, and maybe your body is going to take even longer than you expect. But definitely don't give up after a week. That is just silly.
Hey, ladies, I'm just going to interrupt for a moment. If you've been saying to yourself, I know I need to strength train, but I just can't stay consistent, or I'm not really sure what to do. Well, I created the Balanced Fit and Free Strength membership for people just like you. We meet live 3 mornings a week on Zoom for a simple and effective workout that helps you progressively get stronger, because random workouts just aren't working. You'll get guidance, accountability, breath work, coaching, and a supportive community of women all working toward feeling stronger physically and mentally. We have live and replay only memberships available. You can check the show notes for the link to learn more. Now back to the show.
Lower your expectations for the speed of results, okay? I'm not saying that you shouldn't have high expectations for yourself. What I am saying is that have realistic expectations for how fast it's going to take to change your body. And I want you to raise your commitment to consistency and patience. Consistency and patience are the key, okay? All right. Mistake number 2, people eat way more than they realize. Whoa. Okay. Here's what I see all the time, okay? All the time. People think that they are eating very little, but they're actually consuming far more than they realize. They under-report or under-recognize how much they're eating. So I'll hear things like this. This is where I want you to really pay attention, because maybe you do this to yourself. I only eat small meals. I only have 3 small meals a day, maybe a snack if I need it. I'm barely eating. I'm starving because I'm already eating as little as I can. Or I'll hear, I eat so healthy, I have no idea why I can't lose weight, or why I'm gaining weight, or why, I'm not getting stronger. And I'm like, okay, well then let's talk about it. Like let's actually dissect what you're doing. And here's the first thing. I always believe the person. All I can go on is what you tell me, right? As the client, the only information I have is what I am told. And so that's what I have to work with, okay? So when somebody approaches me and says, I only eat 3 small meals a day, I'm hungry, I don't know what's going on, then I'm like, well, tell me more. Tell me more about this. So when we really start talking about food and what they like and what their day is like, the truth starts to come out. And I want to say here, this is super important. Nobody's intentionally lying to me. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that people either are so mindlessly eating and or just misunderstanding what they're eating that they see it as they're barely eating. But when I hear what they're talking about, I can see that they're actually consuming more calories or more food than they think they are. Okay. So pretty soon I start hearing things like, well, I'll say, tell me how you cook your breakfast. Well, I have 2 eggs every day. And I'm like, well, how? Well, I put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan to get it hot so that the eggs don't stick. And then, I cook the eggs. And I'm like, okay. So you got 2 tablespoons of olive oil. But in your mind, you're only thinking you're eating 2 eggs. 2 eggs is 140 calories. 2 eggs cooked in a bunch of olive oil is more like 350 calories. Big difference, right? But when you eat 2 eggs, even if they're cooked in olive oil, very filling, right? So it feels like you're barely eating anything, but it's more calories than you realize, okay? And not that that's a lot of calories, but you'll get my point in a second. Then I hear people say, well, I put about a quarter cup of half and half in my first coffee, and then probably the same in my next coffee. And I'm like, okay, so you're having about a half a cup of half and half. Got it. I eat ketchup on my eggs. I eat ketchup on my fries. I eat ketchup on my chicken. I eat ketchup everywhere. And nobody counts their ketchup as calories in because 1 tablespoon is only 15 calories. Okay, but you're eating 4. That's 60 calories. Twice a day or 3 times a day. That's more than 15 calories. So it needs to be accounted for, right? I used to do that. I used to pretend ketchup didn't exist. I would eat it, but I would pretend it didn't exist. So I know that one personally. Another thing I hear is, I eat half an avocado. Avocado toast is so healthy. I eat it every day. Half an avocado in the morning, and then I'll eat the rest of the avocado on my salad at night. And I'm like, okay, whole avocado. Got it. Cheese on the salad. Cheese on this. Cheese on that. Cheese here, cheese there, cheese everywhere. People are eating a lot of cheese. And I'm just jealous. That's why I'm making fun of that, because I don't get to eat cheese anymore, except my fake Daiya cheese, which is only good melted, and it's very annoying. But that also has calories, by the way, and it's worse than real cheese, so I don't try to eat very much. But anyway, cheese everywhere, cheese everywhere. The other thing I hear a ton is, I just grab a handful of nuts on the way out the door. Okay? So you don't know how many nuts you're eating. And if you do that every time you run out the door because you just want a little crunch, or you put a bunch of nuts on your salad, or you add it to your chicken salad, or you nuts here, nuts there. Here we go again. Nuts are everywhere, okay? And so that's fine. Yes, they're healthy. The other thing I hear is, I only have 1 or maybe 2 glasses of wine occasionally, most nights. There's a lot of wine happening too. A lot of wine. Although a lot of people are switching over to those THC drinks because they're almost no calories, right? But guess what happens when you have THC drinks? Munchies happen, and then you're like, I'll just have a few chips here, some pretzels, some popcorn, some nuts. Those darn nuts pop in everywhere. Okay, so people are eating more than they think. Spoonfuls of peanut butter, handfuls of chocolate chips, salad dressing, aiolis, guacamoles, dips, all kinds of stuff. So my point is, I don't mean to drag this out, but my point is, most people are eating more than they realize. They're just not really noticing, okay? So I would never tell you any food is bad. I think all foods fit. I think you just have to know how to account for them if you're making a body change, okay? If you love your body the way it is and you don't care, eat whatever you want. There is no such thing as a bad food. Yes, alcohol is a toxin. Yes, processed food's probably not good for you. But in my world of being balanced, fit, and free, I think all things go in moderation and in good portion. And if you're unhappy with your body, then probably time to look at some of the things that aren't as good for you, right? But it's not about saying you can't eat the foods that you love, okay? So my point in this mistake, though, is that, many of these foods that I've listed, nuts, olive oil, even cheese isn't bad. None of it's really that bad for you, right? Some of them are very healthy. Avocados, nuts, olive oil, but they're extremely dense in calories, okay? So, especially nuts, oils, nut butters, avocado, they're higher fat. And if you didn't know this, fat has more calories than carbs and protein. So 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carbohydrate only have 4 calories. So even though we've learned over the years that fat is healthy for us, healthy fats, it doesn't mean go eat a ton of it. Okay. It still matters. The calories matter. Okay. So, and just because something is healthy doesn't mean that it doesn't count. Okay. So I had a client, and again, I'm not like picking on her or anything. She just didn't know. She was like purposely like swallowing, drinking, eating a tablespoon of olive oil every day because she heard it was good for her heart health. Okay. She had totally good intention around it, but she didn't think it counted towards eating. And it does, because that's 120-ish calories and around 16 grams of fat that she wasn't counting in her day. So when I asked for her food log, it wasn't on there. And it was only later that I found out that that was a daily habit. And that's fine. Again, not like criticizing her, but it needs to count. If she wants to keep doing it, then it needs to count towards her fats and it needs to count towards the calories. Okay. So if you're not accounting for these foods, like you just pretend they don't exist or you don't realize that they're adding up, this can add up to hundreds of extra calories a day. Okay. Without you even realizing it and without you feeling full or satisfied. Okay. So this is why I tell people track your food. Track your food, not forever, but long enough to understand what is actually going into your body. Write it down. Write every bite, every sip, every lick, every taste. Write it down, at least for a little while, okay? If you eat a Hershey Kiss, write it down. If you add honey to your tea, count it. Count it. A lot of people put like tablespoons or more of tea, honey in their tea and forget to mention it. Well, that's calories, okay? It's sugar. I don't care that it's healthy. It's still, if you want to make a change, everything has to be accounted for, okay? So, if you put cream in your coffee, write it down. It's not free, okay? This is like, it's like spending money, It's like every calorie is like a calorie in the bank or $1 in the bank, okay? And if you don't track your dollars, then you don't know how many you have, okay? It's really the same kind of idea. So here's the thing. It's not about being perfect. It's about awareness. Okay. Awareness creates change. When you see something written down on paper or on an app, however you want to do it, you start to understand what adjustments need to be made. Okay. Maybe you decide, oh gosh, I am eating a lot of ketchup. I don't even really need it that much. Or, oh, I can just use a cooking spray for like minimal, like 5 calories instead of 200 calories of olive oil. Yeah. And it works great. Okay. That might save you 200 calories. That's amazing. So it means that if you were, let's say you stop cooking your eggs in olive oil and use that little extra calorie that you just dropped from the morning to eat a cookie later. That might sound crazy. I know it sounds crazy. You're telling me to stop eating something healthy like olive oil to eat a cookie? Yes, I am. Because you're probably still going to have that cookie anyway, and at least you're not doubling the calories. Okay? I would much rather see you enjoy your life and have a cookie every night than tell yourself you're not eating enough and be gulping down too much healthy fats. Okay? Live a little. Balance, balance, balance. That's what this whole podcast is about, is balance, right? See, I even have behind me a sign that says balance. It's not about restriction. It's about honesty and awareness. Okay, I'm dragging this on way longer than I meant to. I'm sorry. I get so passionate about this. Mistake number 3, overestimating exercise. So a lot of people underestimate how much food they're eating and overestimate exercise. So they're like, I'm burning calories and I'm barely eating. I'm dying because I'm like burning so much and not eating. I'm withering away. That's what people act like. And I'm being dramatic, but it kind of sounds like that, right? But did you know that most people overestimate how many calories they're burning or how much they're actually exercising, okay? People will say to me, again, I get the data and then I create a plan based on the data. So all I have is their word. So if somebody says to me, oh, yeah, I go to the gym 3 days a week. I go to, a strength class 3 days a week. I do a spin class twice a week. And then I walk all the other days. I'm like, oh, we do need to increase your food. We need to really make sure you're eating enough to fuel those workouts. But then when we start digging a little deeper, they're like, well, I'm like, okay, so how was your last workout? Well, actually, I haven't been in 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, I thought you were going to the gym 3 times a week. Well, that's my plan. That's what I want to do. Like, so you're not actually doing it. And again, this is not meant to be mean, but we lie to ourselves. We do. if you say to yourself, and by the way, just because you're a member at a gym doesn't mean that you're going to the gym, doesn't mean that you're being consistent at the gym, doesn't mean that you're working hard at the gym, okay? So there's a big difference between telling me I go to the gym X amount of days when really you haven't been in 2 weeks or you only go every other week and do that, okay? So, again, everybody has their best intentions. So I sound a little bit mean talking about this, and I don't mean it to come across that way, but it's being honest, okay? I see so many people making this way harder than it needs to be, okay? I think when it comes to exercise, people have this mentality of, I have to do this. And when they meet with a coach, they feel almost like obligated to be like, oh, this is what I'm doing, because they're almost embarrassed or because they know what they should be doing, but they're just not doing it. So it feels better to report that they are doing this when they know deep down that they're not really consistent at it, okay? So instead of thinking of exercise as having to be this big thing, I think it's more about finding a consistent routine that you can actually stick with, okay? And I just see so many people making it harder than it needs to be. So here's what I recommend for most women. 3 days of strength training, okay? And then walk as much as you can. Hey, I love spin. I love yoga. I love all the things because I love it. It's my lifestyle. It's what I enjoy doing. But maybe you don't. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to hate exercising. But what I recommend is finding something that you can stick with, something that you can tolerate, okay? And so I believe, like I just said, 3 days of strength training and walk as many days every day if possible, but that might be too much every other day or the days you're not lifting, or maybe you lift and walk on the same day and then take all the other days off, but just get movement in. But already, I bet somebody hearing this was like, Rae Anne, that's not enough. That's not enough, right? Because remember all the marketing we've heard, all the Instagram people we follow, all the years of being told that if you're not working hard, that you suck. Okay, you don't. All right. And also, I want to point out that many women, especially, think they need to be doing more cardio than they need. Okay. So many women are overdoing the cardio, that darn elliptical machine. I can't tell you how many women go to the gym and just get on the elliptical machine. And that's fine because, again, maybe that's all they know to do. But I promise you, when you start lifting weights, especially heavier weights, you can skip some of that cardio because when you're lifting heavier weights, your heart rate goes up. Just this morning, we were doing squat, curl, press. My heart rate got up to 135. And for me, that's high. And I wasn't doing cardio. I mean, I kind of was, right? But I was focused on the strength of my legs and then my biceps and my shoulders and my back and my whole body. But meanwhile, my heart's like, boop, boop, like going and getting it, okay? And that is what we need, okay? So things like squats, deadlifts, lunges, these movements can become cardio and strength at the same time, okay? So if you're short on time and you don't love to exercise, strength training is going to be the thing that gives you more return for your effort, okay? Add a little walking on top of that whenever you can. I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Just walk or move or stand as much as you can the rest of the week, but get in those 3 days of strength training, okay? It's simple, okay? It's simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. So I know a lot of women are like, okay, great, but what do I do? Like, I don't even really know what you mean by strength training, okay? Well, if you need help getting consistent and you want somebody to create a routine for you, I highly recommend that you consider joining my Balanced, Fit, and Free Strength Training membership, okay? It's a month-to-month thing. So if you try a month and you don't love it, you're not consistent or you're not doing it, or you just don't like the workouts or you can't stand me talking, whatever, then you can quit it. It's fine. But if you are doing nothing, that would be a great place to start. And, I found that some women actually do mine for a little while and then they feel more confidence and they feel better, they feel stronger. And then they might go join a gym where they can get more days in or do different things. And that's amazing because my whole goal is to help you get consistent, get stronger, and start to like exercising and realizing that you are capable and you are strong and you can do this and you can actually enjoy it. Okay. So in the show notes, there's a link to check out my membership. No pressure. I would love to have you. I think it works. But if it's not for you, then that's okay. But go find somebody or someone to show you how to do strength training so you can get with it 3 days a week. Please, at least 3 days a week. Some, you could do 2. All right, you could start with 2 days a week. But 2 to 4 is the best, and you're going to knock out so much with that. Please do it. Okay, mistake number 4, constant comparison. The final mistake that I want to talk about is this issue of comparing yourself, okay? So many women spend hours looking at other bodies, right, online, measuring themselves against the other people. Have you noticed, like, women are constantly looking at women, comparing themselves to them, okay? And it's so funny because I was having this conversation the other day with somebody about how women, dye their hair, get their eyelashes done, Botox, all these things, right? It's not for their men. Sorry, guys, it's not. It's to compare to other women. It's for other women. Or we like to say it's for ourselves, and I hope it is. I hope it is. But the truth is, I think most women are comparing themselves to other women. And it's about stacking up to the other women. And so I hope, though, that you exercise and take care of yourself and do Botox or makeup or whatever you like to do. I hope you do it for yourself, and I hope you do it for the people you love. And not really the looking part, but the health part, okay? Anyway, let me get back to what I was talking about. Many of, the images that we compare ourselves to, like I'm going to use Instagram again. I guess I should say TikTok too, but I don't really look at TikTok. But these social media, even Facebook isn't quite in your face as like Instagram, but what's happening is women are comparing themselves to other women and it doesn't really make sense. So for example, a 65-year-old woman comparing herself to a 30-year-old influencer on Instagram. Is that really comparable? No, it's really not. We're in totally different stages of life. Or well, I'm not 65 yet, but even a 50-year-old versus a 30-year-old, we're in a totally different phase of life. And it just doesn't make sense to compare our bodies, okay? You don't have to look like a 30-year-old when you're 60. Like, why? I mean, if that's important to you, fine, but like in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't make sense, okay? Or women who are 5'9", tall, broad shoulders, comparing themselves to a 5'1", tiny little petite lady. Doesn't make sense. We are not the same, okay? So when you're going to compare, well, I just don't think you should compare, but we're really not looking at equal comparisons, okay? And this just sets you up for disappointment. Girl, your body is unique. Your genetics are unique. Your life experiences are unique. Your hormones, your stress levels, your lifestyle are unique. So instead of constantly comparing, right, try something different. Go stand in front of your mirror. Okay, you could do it right now. If you're home, hopefully you're out walking while listening to this. So when you get home, or if you're driving, do this when you get home. But go stand in front of your mirror. You don't have to be naked. You can be if you want, but just go look in the mirror. And I want you to find something that you actually like about your body. Not how it compares to somebody else's. What do you like about your body? Okay, maybe you like your arms. Because, lately, I've been kind of liking, I'm working on this shoulder. And I'm going to admit to you, I'm starting to kind of like how my arms look. Took a long time for me to really feel that way. Or maybe you like how your calves look. Or maybe you like the shape of your hips or your booty, right? Or your chest, which I do not have. So hopefully you do. Okay, or whatever it is you like. Maybe it's just like even your face. Maybe it's your hair. What do you like about you? Be honest, okay? I guarantee there's something you like, okay? Your body is an incredible, complex, intelligent system that is working 24 hours a day, whether you know it or not, right? It keeps you alive all the time. Your heart is beating. Your lungs are breathing. Like, stop for a second. You don't even like have to tell your heart to beat. You don't even have to tell your lungs to breathe. You don't have to tell your blood to flow, right? Your immune system, by the way, is constantly protecting you. Even if it gets sick once in a while, its job is to like be on alert for you. It's taking care of you. Your muscles move you through this amazing world, okay? I'm like lifting my arm up and down right now, and it's like not even that hard to do, but like muscles, like bunch of muscles had to do that, and they work in unison together. I mean, it's pretty amazing, right? Yet, we spend so much time criticizing this body. Okay? It's actually kind of sad to me. And I know I've said this before in here, but it's like our body, especially if you're a woman who's had a baby, and whether you've had a baby or not, doesn't matter. You've had a period, right? Like you've had all kinds of things happen, but like it's amazing what our body can do. Men's bodies too, but since we're mostly women listening to this, it's really incredible. Like we have been given this gift of a body, and what we do mostly is beat it up, yell at it, tell it it's ugly, and that's just super sad. It actually makes me really sad to think about that. So stop it. Okay? Stop it. Give your body a break. Okay? And instead of chasing somebody else's body or somebody else's shape, focus on becoming the strongest, healthiest, best version of your own. Okay? So I'm sorry, again, I got a little long-winded today, but I love this information. So those are some of the biggest mistakes that I see after decades of coaching. And again, this episode isn't about judging you or making you feel ashamed. It's about honesty. Real change starts with asking yourself, am I being realistic? Am I truly aware of what I'm eating? Am I consistent with my exercise? And am I comparing myself to people I shouldn't be comparing myself to? Because when we stop lying to ourselves, everything changes. And here's the beautiful part. When you approach your body with honesty, curiosity, and respect instead of punishment, your relationship with health becomes so much better. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. And honestly, that's exactly why my work has shifted beyond just weight loss, okay? Because the deeper work, the mindset, the awareness, the self-honesty, that's where real transformation happens. And that's truly what I care about the most, is your happiness, your true transformation, and you living the best life that you can, okay? So if this episode made you think about your own habits a little bit, good, okay? That's the first step. Remember to check out the strength training membership if you need help with your strength workouts. If you already have a routine going, please keep doing it. Or if you want to go in person and meet a trainer or go to a gym, go do that too. Do what feels best to you. But just know that I'm here for you with the workouts, the breath work, and we'll see if there's some more nutrition programs coming. I'm not sure yet, but check in with me. And you guys, I'll see you next time on the Balanced, Fit, and Free podcast. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to the Balanced, Fit, and Free podcast. I hope this episode helped you feel a little more aware, aligned, and supported on your wellness journey. Remember, true health isn't about perfection. It's about living in alignment with yourself and creating a life that feels balanced, grounded, and free. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, share this episode, and I will see you next time.